Welcome to the Fractured Families podcast. I'm Charity, your dedicated parental alienation coach, here to guide and support families as they navigate the challenges of high conflict divorces and custody battles. On this podcast, we'll share insights, practical strategies, and hope for those on the journey toward healing and justice. Whether you're personally experiencing these challenges or just want to learn more about the complexities of parental alienation and custody disputes, you're in the right place. You are not alone. This is the Fractured Families podcast, where every voice matters and every story is heard. And if you find my conversation helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us reach more families who need it. Hi, thanks for joining the Fractured Families podcast. This is Charity, your host. I have with me today David and Alex. They're a married couple. David and Alex come to us from Arkansas, and he is being alienated from his son, who's not even a year old. Alex is his wife, and they're going to share with us their story of alienation. So David and Alex, thank you both for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I would like to get us started with how we got to this point. So David, tell us a little bit about your relationship with the mother of your child, what that was like in the beginning, and how long were you with her before you stopped seeing your son?
So it was through a 5-year span we were together.
Okay.
We were together off and on, which is like the first problem. And it was around the third time I got back together with her. I was at a point where I was getting ready to take everything serious. I just got my first apartment. I was trying to save up money to move on from there, was doing well at my job. And I brought her into all that. And sure enough, as time went on, and I don't like making it sound like I'm ever blaming her or anything, because as time went on, I ended up moving in with her parents, and I changed jobs, so I was a fresh start in a new one, and it's just things started changing in a direction that I didn't want us to go. And I made it clear, since that was our third time being together, hey, this is the point where we have to make serious moves. Like, we're approaching our mid-20s, we got to get real. But it just felt like it kept going backwards and backwards and backwards. And tried everything I can to save money. We just couldn't. And eventually she told me she was pregnant. And that was something at one point we were trying for. But after I saw the direction of how everything was going, I wanted to try less, because I was like, I really don't think we're in a situation where we need to bring a child into this world right now. But when she said she was pregnant, my whole tune changed. Everything was just bright, and I was hoping it would start anew, but over a quick span, it started getting worse. Like, really, really worse. Like, we can use the argument of pregnancy hormones all you want, but there were things, very hurtful things that were being said. Like, she started getting a little bit more physical with me, and I eventually just sat down, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Because, even though I had, all this resentment, I still saw this person as the mother of my child. And I had a deep love for that, and it was a hard decision to come to. But I told her, look, we're not good together. We shouldn't be together. I think we should just agree that maybe co-parenting is the best thing. But as far as, being a couple, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be in my son's life. I want to be there for him. I want you to be there for him. I never want him to be denied any of us. But, this just can't work. It'd be a miserable life seeing us fight all the time,
So how old was he when you separated from her?
She was still pregnant with him at
okay.
the time. She was still pregnant with him. And we had an agreement after all that. We had things we didn't see eye to eye on, like terms like putting me on supervised visitation for no reason at all, because I'm no felon. I don't have any bad records. I have more people that
she wanted to put you on supervised visits before he was even born?
Yeah. The moment he was born, I wasn't allowed to have full visitation rights until he was apparently old enough to talk. And again, I'm not I'm not a person with a record, I'd say this humbly, but I have more people that vouch for me doing good than bad. I had no idea where any of that came from.
Okay, so you end the relationship. She's still pregnant. She's clearly not happy that it's ended. And then when he was born, how did that transpire? Did you have any parenting time with him?
I wasn't even told. I wasn't even told that he was born. I did not figure out my son's birthday until I saw it in a court document. And that was the court document I sent out so we could begin our fight for custody.
And did she file to fight for custody?
No, we were pretty much the ones that threw the first blow. We threw the hammer
Okay.
first. So, I mean, she tried the day my son was born filing a no contact order against me. And
Or it was 2 days before.
yeah, like 2 days before, she filed that no contact order. And I mean, even on the order itself, the police officer like that wrote it out said like this is just an argument. Like this is just an argument gone bad. But they went ahead and filed it anyway, so I had to fight that off too.
Yep. And days after, it was like in less than a week, she files the no contact order. She has his son. And then a couple days after that, we were receiving death threats, including threats to rape my son, who is 4.
Oh my gosh. So I take it she didn't like that you were in a relationship with somebody new.
No, and the thing is I told her flat out, I don't care who you see as long as they don't put hands on you or my child. Like I don't care who you see as long as they do right by you and my child. Like I even made it painfully clear when we had the discussion of moving on after we split. And I mean, like, granted, I moved on pretty soon because I mean, that's just the type of person I am. But I mean, I moved on pretty soon. But like, even when we were discussing it towards the end of our relationship, I told her, like, look, I want somebody that's going to give you better than gave you. Yeah. I mean, like, granted, I like helped you out all this way. You know, you've got everything you want out of this, but like honestly, I would prefer you to be with somebody that could give you the house on the hills if you wanted that. I mean, but it just I guess it just wasn't mutual. I guess those feelings just weren't mutual.
So you're with Alex at this point. You get served. What happens at that point? You get death threats. Did you guys call the police or get the law enforcement involved? What happened with that?
So as far as we know, they're still investigating. I mean, they haven't really done a very good job. They've kept in contact with us as they've had new updates. We don't know for sure. It's allegedly, but, and we're not really supposed to, I think, tell who it is, but from what it looks like, it's someone that has been involved, or it's someone that, you know, is known by his ex.
Yeah.
So what was the death threat? And I mean, I'm just so blown away by that. And against your son, what does he have to do with it?
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, I honestly don't, in like good taste, want to repeat half the stuff they said.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I mean, like they threatened our lives, and they threatened to do horrible things to a kid who's now my stepson, but I still see him as my son nonetheless.
Yeah.
And I mean, like that sent me over the roof. I mean, I'm one of those people like you can talk to me all you want, and if it's bad, I'll just laugh it off and brush it off. But when it got to that point, that's just kind of when like all emotion left my face, and I just could not.
Well, and even, I mean, I think it may have been the day or it was like a month prior, something. We were contacted by her brother and his girlfriend and some friends of theirs with heinous accusations against her. And then because of that, we found out that there's so his ex has 3 siblings and 2 parents. So out of the 6 of them, over the last 10 years, they have 54 police reports against them. Her mom has been in jail for harassment. Pretty sure her dad for domestic violence. They're basically all very violent people. So we're finding all of this out. And then, so since they had broken up, they had only seen each other in person once. He came home, told me how it was like it was an ultrasound. Yeah, it was an ultrasound. And then they went out to lunch and went and bought baby stuff after. Well, after that one time getting together, after her hardly having any communication with him over the span of her pregnancy, all of a sudden she starts texting more and more for the 4 days following up. And then she started sending texts alleging that they had done something together, which then I've only texted her maybe three or 4 times this whole time. I have not wanted to get involved. I've wanted to be respectful. I was preparing this whole time to simply be a supporting role. I know I'm not the biological parent. But of course, this whole thing's been so utterly upsetting. But I texted her and I said, did something happen? I don't want to be with a cheater. And so he was like, no, nothing happened. And then she said nothing happened to me. But then in text later on, she still was alleging that something happened. So it's just all this crazy drama. And I've read every single court document, every single text message, and like in multiple conversations where he tried to just have it about their child, she would constantly circle back and make it about their relationship or just talk about something else that was very inflammatory.
Right. So she's trying to get a response. She wants you to be antagonized and respond inappropriately and negatively.
And like the thing is, it's like even after lying about that, because it's all like in a short span of time, these accusations that her brother made and the fact that she lied about us doing something at the ultrasound, it's like it makes me question everything they tell me. Like I hate to hear accusations like the one her brother told me, and I really don't want to go into detail about that, but I hate to hear that and then just like think in the back of my mind, but are you really telling the truth? Because I mean,
well, and accusations aside, the things that were in the police reports are just bad enough. I mean, she was fighting when she was like pretty far along pregnant with her family.
So let's talk about the baby's birth. So he's born, you get served, and then what happens after that?
Oh, so they actually never even properly served him with the protective order. We found out about it because another one of their family friends messaged him about it. And that's how we knew, okay, it's time to hire the attorney. And so then we began fighting that, and he filed for full custody. Not expecting full. We were just going to ask for joint. Really, my main thing and why I would only accept full at this point is just for our safety and the safety of the poor child.
Yeah.
And mine.
So he doesn't know he's got a protective order. How did you finally see your son? How did that play out?
This day, I've never seen my child. I've only seen pictures that, she literally posts to taunt. And I mean, it's like, here's the thing, this goes even beyond the end of the battle. Because they still persist, They persist constantly to just keep trying to antagonize us, even after I pretty much gave them what they wanted.
So during the whole thing, so all the paperwork was filed like July, August, and only one picture of his child's been posted. His sister posted that picture, but it was in black and white. And to back up years before, she had a child. I think she was the first, well, no, her older sisters had kids. But anyway, so she was a teen mom and she had a child. She was dating someone who was white and ended up having a mixed baby. So that's why I bring this in, because of from what I've heard, her family tried to bully her white boyfriend into signing the birth certificate before he saw the child, even though obviously that wasn't his child. So we see this picture in black and white, and he looked so much different than he does now. Like, he looked African American in his features. So we were like, oh my gosh, this is not his child. So and this picture was posted in October 2024. We were days away from the court date to establish joint custody and fight the protective order. And so that was probably another tactic on their part to keep us away for longer. So at that point we go, this might not be his child. We need a DNA test. So DNA test doesn't come until January or February. Then it comes back as his. And then we're discussing things. We're $6,000 in at this point just to find out birthday, DNA, and she agreed to drop the protective order. And then our lawyer was telling us it would be another $5,000 to $7,000 just to establish joint custody. And with everything that had happened up to this point, that's when he made the decision, and we went back and forth on it. So they kept asking her and her lawyer, even before she signed for the protective order July 29th, she was telling him to sign away his rights. And then so they did what was called a single parent adoption. he signed the consent forms, and we don't know if it went through. We're pretty sure it went through. And then all of a sudden they started posting pictures of him everywhere. And so that's when we decided to start posting about what has happened. Like, we've got multiple videos on both of our forums or both of our TikToks just about this whole situation. And now I'm advocating for fathers' rights. And, instead of a normal response, her dad has decided to comment like multiple just nasty comments. Instead of being like, well, maybe we should try to have him involved as the father for his child. I don't know, he really cares. It's F you, and we're over here laughing because you signed away your rights. And like, those are just a couple of the comments that he's made. And also during the whole time with the protective order and everything, they were just posting all kinds of crap about both of us on their social medias, thinking that we would never see it.
So you signed away your rights, and you've not once seen your son. You're married to Alex. She's supporting you. You have a relationship with her son. You felt like it was in his best interest to not fight because of the impact it would have on him.
It wasn't even necessarily the case of not fighting. It would have just been the case of if I would have even so much as tried to be there, I mean, it would cause a major conflict. Like, I'm literally scared to send my own child a present on his birthday out of fear that some crazy legal retaliation is going to come out of it. And I mean, like, the thing is I've always been raised to trust the system. I've been on both the good and bad ends of the system. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've had moments where I'm like, oh, the system does this good. But then, like, there's other moments where I'm like, why are we even wasting our time doing this? Like, the whole no contact order, even on the paper, the cop said, like, this is just an argument.
He said there was no harassment observed.
But they still filed the no contact order. And I mean, like, it's just anything and everything that they can try. Because, again, I lived with these people a year and a half. I knew this entire family for 5 years. I know everything that they do to people that they disagree with. So, I mean, it's like...
We had multiple people reach out to us, and then when we asked them if they would testify against them, they were afraid for their own family's safety if they spoke out.
Yeah.
So they operate like a gang. And instead of actually being tough like a gang, when they have disagreements inside their family unit, they just call the police on each other.
What's up, buddy? What's up, man?
That's my son.
So he signed away his rights. What does that mean legally now? Does that mean that he can never have a relationship with his son?
So there's no NDA or anything like that. So it would just be up to the mother of his child at this point. I mean, he's got nothing on paper. I mean, it's something that I'm wondering if we can fight, especially with the changing laws in our country. Lawyers have told us at this point to go back and fight for his rights. It would be extremely hard. But the only thing that really gives me hope with that, or the main thing that gives me hope with that, is just there's a clause in that paperwork. And you agree that signing that you're not under duress. Well, obviously we were under duress. So if the judge or whoever we spoke to agreed to that, then we could reopen the case and then fight for rights, which is kind of what we're thinking down the road. I mean, this has all been just so upsetting and so expensive, but even more than that, it's just the safety thing. So if we're keeping an eye on things. I call the Cabot Police Department from time to time just to see if there are any new charges, because we're just, loving from a distance. So, and our plan is all that money that we would have wasted in court, at minimum, we're going to save it up for him and then have like a nest egg for him. So we are here whenever he is ready, but whenever it seems safe for us to do so, when we're able to, we may fight again.
So was it the recommendation of your lawyer or her lawyer to force the adoption because she wouldn't give you your parenting time?
In a way, it was kind of a recommendation of both.
I think it was more her lawyer. I mean, it was her lawyer that were pressing for it.
But our lawyer was the one that gave us the forewarning and understanding that, like, hey, even after all this is said and done, it can go beyond. And, like, it was even when I talked to my dad and everything, like, he let us know, like, this is gonna go beyond. Like, so, I mean...
What do you mean?
Like, after we actually do get finalized adoption, like, he's gonna pull something.
Yeah.
Anything to get us back in court. Anything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think It probably was. I mean, I don't know the case, but it's definitely a strategy. If she's already trying to keep you out of the child's life before he's even born, it's definitely a strategy to completely remove you. You hear this a lot with alienating parents, and you both have probably seen the podcast. They want to pay you off early on. If they know that their partner has a financial stability where they can pay, then they'll offer to pay somebody off. I'll pay you to leave our child's life. But if they don't, then they use false accusations and allegations to that and exclude you from that child's life. But I think to your point, David, is even if you had continued to fight, the potential of it being dragged on for years, as you're both familiar with now, is highly likely. Not that, and your lawyer, I'm sure, has seen this and knows the outcomes of this, sided with the best interest of the child of not having to fight and drag the child through this. But now he's going to go through life without a father, and you're going to go through your life without a son. And if you do decide, it's going to be a lengthy court battle again.
And I mean, like that's kind of honestly what leads me to this question I wanted to ask you. But I mean, even in situations where like both parents have to fight each other, like I think you and I can both agree that that doesn't always go that great, and it doesn't really affect the child in a positive way. It's honestly very negative when you see both your parents fight constantly. I mean, and just like it's always a lot of pressure on you as the child when you're being told two different things that are best for you.
Yeah.
And you're constantly being told you got to love this person more than the other. Like my entire childhood, I was basically a weapon for another family member to fight against other family. I was just a weapon, and that was it. And I had to deal with that up until that person's passing when I was a kid, and I was finally away from all that. That person's my grandmother, and she passed away when I was 14. But I mean, it's a lot to bear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know a lot of people in this world that just loves their grandmother. I can't even tell you that with a straight face after everything that she did to me, and like it makes it hard for me to talk to my family, you know? Like me and my mom, we were separated because she was all the way in California and I moved all the way here to Arkansas. She passed and I didn't even get to say goodbye to her. It's tough, you know, because I don't think any child should be put through that because that just doesn't do anything. At the end of the day, all you got is a broken family, and that might as well be as good as nothing.
So you're coming from this not only as a parent, but also as an adult alienated child. So it's so interesting because there's so much statistics that show that transgenerational trauma carries over into your current relationships. And this is exactly what you faced as a parent. And now your son, sadly, will have the same type of trauma that you have by not having the parent in his life.
Well, the thing is again, like I am personally a person that'll push and push and push my foot in the door till I can get it all the way open. I mean, with me signing that paper to me, I'll say it, it's just a piece of paper. I mean, again, just because I'm afraid to send my kid a present doesn't mean I won't. Like, it doesn't mean I won't try to constantly reach out. And I don't care if they run. I don't care if they try to get as far away from me as all the way to Cambodia to keep me away from my child. I mean, there's still going to be something at the door. There's still going to be letters that's going to be sent. Like, we live in a world of technology. I can send them a message. I mean, like, I have all intentions of just like I'm gonna be in my child's life. I mean, it's just I have to do it this way, and that's the way that kind of hurts. You know, I have to be far away to be there.
So, Alex, how has this affected you? I mean, being a mom and being his spouse and his partner and his support, that's a heavy burden.
Yeah, it has affected me very deeply. I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself, starting with my dad. I definitely wish that my parents could have separated or could have could have healed themselves and, done something better with their lives than they did. And then I had abusive relationships. And so honestly, especially once the police reports came in and I sat there and I read through all of them, I don't use this word a lot, but it was really triggering. It brought back a lot for me. And of course, this has all been extremely painful. I feel like we're still connected. So everything he feels, I feel. So I've had to, metaphorically pick him up off the floor a lot. But of course, when we met, it was a couple weeks after he left her in January of last year. We both started off the whole thing just, we're going to be open, see where it goes. But
it was like we intended totally to keep it casual.
Yeah. Like 2 or 3 other dates the next day after he planned our date that he canceled after we met. We started talking, and just from the first conversation, like talking to him was different than talking to anybody else in my entire life. So we had both been through, he had been through his off and on relationship. I had been through lots of relationships. So when we met, we knew we were right for each other. Like I would have never gone through with any of this had it not been. But he has been just a stand-up partner to me. He's stepped up and been a father to my son. I'm not really, I don't know, I'm going back and forth between, or like when I'm going to share the story of what happened with my son's father. I'm not too comfortable sharing that right now, but my son has never had a father in his life. So, but even when myself and my son went to visit my family a couple weeks ago, we got off the phone with him one night and my son was crying because he missed him so much. And then the next morning he was like, don't even mention his name. I don't want to think about him. I miss him so much. Like, when can we go home to see daddy? When can we go home to see daddy? I mean, it just like, when we met, we were just like, here's our baggage. Can you accept it? Yes. Like, here's what we want for our life. And we wanted a strong family unit because we never had that. So we said, like, let's make this work. I knew from the very first day what his situation was. I knew very quickly, like, so also something, and I've made videos about this too. When we met, the way someone talks about other people says a lot about them. And so when we met, he talked good about his ex. He still doesn't like to talk bad about her.
I really don't.
And that's an amazing thing, and so many people, they're like, I'm sure you see this rhetoric on social media all the time. Oh, don't trash the baby mama, blah, 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 blah. Like, always respect the mother of your child. Like, yes. Like, he has always been respectful. But again, like, if they are actually doing criminal behavior, which this falls under criminal behavior, like, yes, please share, call them out. Like, if they're a bully, if they're abusive, like, yes, call them out. And which is what we're doing. We're not sitting here being like calling her every name in the book, But when he started talking, he would tell me stories and my jaw dropped to the floor. Because he would tell me like this horrible story that happened, and then he would follow it up with, but she's not really bad. She didn't really mean that. She cares about me. She loves me. And I'm just sitting here like, because after all of the abuse that I survived, I had already, I'd already been in therapy off and on for years. I think I was in therapy again when we met. So I already, had healed a lot from mine. He was in a different place healing wise, but he was healing. And so I was like, no, this is abuse. Like, what you're telling me, you were so brainwashed by this person. This person doesn't care. They don't so I knew going in very early on who we were dealing with, but I had the hope that she would grow up and maybe do the right thing for their son. Because I mean, like, I feel like you see it so much these days. Like, you don't see good parents. You don't see good families. And it was also extremely hard. I lost my second child. I'm also not going to go into that too much right now, but I lost a second child, and I had my tubes removed. I had preeclampsia twice. The second time, it was about to kill me. So seeing the person that you love also having a child with someone else is very hard. But I know how to take myself out of a situation and still like to do my best, So when I reached out to her, I always reached out to her with all the care, like, I'm sorry all didn't work out. I'm sure this hurts. Like, we did post our pictures on social media early and stuff, but it's like, and she's made everything all about her.
So do you think this is retaliatory for you finding someone else?
It's partly that. I mean, that's what you typically see a lot of times, but it's like, this was not to hurt her.
sorry, like if I'm kind of quiet and just shaking my head and looking off. She's honestly much more of a trooper talking about this stuff than I am because like this hurts me. It really, 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 really festers in my head. Like I constantly think every time I talk about it, like I could have done something different, like things didn't have to be this way, and like I just like I had like a lot. It's not even necessarily regret because I mean like at the end of the day I still made this decision for my child's happiness, for him to have the ability to at least be in a family that cares about him and not one that's constantly fighting. Like it just makes me feel defeated. Because like, and I don't say that lightly because I don't like that word, but I feel defeated a lot when I talk about it. Because I mean, no man wants to admit that. No man wants to admit ever that they met their match, especially when their match was someone that they once cared about. I mean, it's in no way, shape, or form right. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've been through. At the end of the day, when two people create a life, there is no more feeling that you have to have towards anything other than that child. I mean, put down the arguments, put down the habits, get into some new things because it's a whole new motion. And all I wanted was just to be able to, have that agreement with the person that I was with. Like, let's just figure out how we can both agree what's good for this child. And just to be treated like a monster, like after every like especially after you've given this person absolutely nothing with the best. I mean, like you grow and you figure out you grew with the wrong person. And it's terrible.
So, David, you mentioned that you carry all this grief and you feel defeated, and I mean, you never even held your son. It's got to be just so heart wrenching.
It's hard. It really is.
I mean, what did you do for you? How were you coping with that loss? Not only as being a father of a child that you never got to be with, but having to sign away your rights, having that taken away from you to protect him from the loyalty conflicts and the psychological abuse of going back and forth between a parent who manipulates your child against you. What do you do for you?
Cope with that. It sounds a lot simpler than it is, but I wake up, I go to work, and I just live the life that I have now. There's pros and cons to that. Like, yes, I am a father to this child that isn't mine biologically, but I find more solace than grief in that because me and this child have the absolute most best relationship in the world. That is my boy. That is my right hand man. I will and I would not trade anything in this world unless it made that kid smile. And that's plain and simple. So when I see that, I'm like, at the end of the day, I know I can be a good dad. And
Yeah.
it's hard because you got to realize, like, I don't know if I'm going to see this kid when he's like 8 years old. I don't know if I'm going to see this kid when he's 16 years old. I don't know but at the same time, like I know I have the heart of someone that really, really cares, that wants to bring a better version of himself to this world, whether it's through another person. And I know that whenever time I can get there, whenever whether I have to kick that door in to finally hold my son, or I just got to sit here and wait. Like, I mean, I know I can be there, and just like hopefully I get that chance, and that's really what I'm riding on is hope on that.
Well, Alex and David, thank you both for joining the Fractured Families podcast and for sharing. It's absolutely heartbreaking what you're both going through, and David never being able to hold your child and the wrongful, basically, abduction of your child because somebody is vindictive and jealous. It's unforgivable.
Oh, thank you for having us, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for our guests that want to follow you, what are your social media handles on TikTok?
So mine is Spooky Jazzy Travels, and then his is like David's how tos and don'ts right now.
Well,
But
David's how tos, do's, and don'ts.
you can find Oh, sorry. Links through some of my videos.
Okay, great. We'll make sure we put in the transcripts, and if anyone wants to reach out to you, that'll be available. Again, thank you both for joining the Fractured Families podcast.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fractured Families podcast. I hope our conversation has provided you with support, understanding, and actionable insights to help you navigate your own family challenges. Remember, healing is a journey, and reaching out for help is a sign of strength. You're not alone. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more families in need. You can contact me on social media at Parental Alienation is Real and visit our website for additional resources and ways to get involved. Stay strong, stay connected, and keep fighting for the family bonds that matter most. Until next time, take care and stay resilient.